Good morning, good afternoon. Today we're talking about knowledge is your power. I'll try to keep it short today because I actually have some other things I need to do today. So, good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you're joining from. Good evening as well. Hello to Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook right here. So, thank you for being here. Today we're talking about knowledge is your power. My name is Toyin Umesiri. If today is your first time of ever joining any of my sessions, welcome. Call me Coach Toyin. This year, 2022, I'm prioritizing coaching and guiding and teaching a lot because there's a huge gap that we have to fill, right? A huge knowledge gap. So, today we want to talk about knowledge is your power. This idea that we're living in a world that people have not been prepared for, right? People have not been prepared for. Hello, Josh Pub. Good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you're joining from. Please drop a comment. Let us know what state, country, where you are, where you're joining from as well. And then feel free to drop any questions or comments. If anything I say really resonates with you, please share as well. Thank you. So, as I was saying, right, we're all living in a world where most people have not been prepared for. So, let's say you went to school for accounting or you studied to become a medical doctor or you're an engineer. The reality is that the academic world, the way it's designed to prepare you for somebody else to employ you, right? It's organized around the enterprise, right? Your skill set, the skill set you go into mainstream university or college, right? What you go in there for is to specialize in, to dive deeper into a specific skill area. And when you come out of that system, right, you're supposed to be employable, right, to be absorbed into the enterprise, right? No matter where you are, we have to acknowledge first that the education system, generally the Western one, is designed to prepare you for that skill set that is required. So you're learning deep, right? But the world we're living in today requires you to be knowledgeable across sectors. Okay, I'm going to try and break that down. Okay. We go to school to learn depth in expertise, to acquire expertise in a specific area. Accounting, finance, legal profession, right? You go to school to learn deep. But the world we're living in today and the things I hear most people want to do, I want to become an entrepreneur, I want to do this, I want to lead. To be effective in that space, you have to be well read across discipline. Does that make sense? You have to understand human psychology for you to understand sales, human behavior. You have to borrow from different sciences, right? For you to run a company, you have to know basic debit credit, right? Profit and loss statements, right? Right? Even if you went to school as for engineering or agriculture, that's what I'm talking about. Is that we're living in a world where what you went to school for hasn't prepared you for, particularly if you want to venture out of your profession. So all of a sudden, if you went to school to study the human body and you're a medical doctor, and now you say, "Oh, I want to be an entrepreneur," guess what? Please approach it as a student because you didn't go to school for that stuff. You went to school to learn about the human body. That's different from managerial accounting, leadership, management principles, right? That's what I'm trying to talk about. That your power to be effective in anything new you're trying to do beyond what you went to school for, when you're stretching for more, right? This is part of the game plan series where I teach and coach leadership and success principle. You can learn more at toyinumesiri.com/the game plan. You can actually sign up. There are 12 strategies for winning. This is something I'm just sharing, that knowledge is your power means you went to school to acquire a certain knowledge. Fantastic. You're leading in your field. Fantastic. Even you have a PhD in engineer, whatever, fantastic. Stay in that lane. You will always win in that lane. The moment you say, I want more, I want to become an entrepreneur, I want more of whatever. That more. The question is, do you have the roadmap? Were you given the knowledge for that more? And most likely the answer will be no. If you're honest with yourself, I think the answer will be no. We are not prepared for the more that we want. Particularly the day you say, okay, I want to leave that enterprise you were prepared for. Remember, I said we all went to school for those skills for us to be relevant to a company, employable, right? I went to school. My first degree is mathematics and minor in computer science. My second degree is information systems, right? Certified SAP consultant. How do you use technology to run your business? So I'm telling you, I know what I'm saying. I'm trying to be as direct as possible so that people begin to invest in knowledge. Because when I talk about personal development, leadership, success, people are like, what's that stuff? I don't need it. I'm already successful. I'm like, yeah, fine. Until you say you want more, until you want to venture into new territories that you've not been prepared for, you have to prepare. You have to acquire new skills, new knowledge in that area you want to get into because you didn't go to school for that stuff, right? You didn't go to school for that stuff. Nobody, you spent 5 good years studying to be an engineer. Now you wake up, you say you want more. Now you need to know accounting. In fact, when I did my information systems, it was held in a business college of business. Because my first degree is mathematics and computer science. Before I could even be enrolled in that business college, what did they say? We have a prerequisite. You must take managerial accounting and financial accounting. Thank God I took that thing. I'm thankful because it set me up better. And then once I got into corporate, you have to have a thirst for knowledge. I was that person. I won't sit down and code. I'll code some. I will code a little bit and then run. Run and do, because I realized quickly, like, yes, I can code, yes, I can do all those things many years, but I realized that I I I had desire for different things, human interaction, because people I left there, they are still romancing the computer. Okay, if this is your first time, you're not used to my laughters. Like, I'm using these sessions are very relaxed. Okay, nothing serious, right? It's not. This is not. This is not serious, right? It's relaxed. So let's have fun. Let's enjoy this time together. Otherwise, then I wouldn't do this, right? So you will see me laugh. You will see me joke if this is your first time. So let's enjoy this moment together. Okay. So I went to school for mathematics, a minor in computer science, my first degree, second degree information systems, more of technology. I'm using technology to run the enterprise, right? So I used to program, I used to code, but I realized that you romance your computer. I want real life. I want to engage in human interaction, and all of that. And guess what? That's what I pursued. So while I was doing the day job, I was extremely curious. I got involved, like SAP is an enterprise system. So I got exposed to finance and controlling, procurement. I started deploying systems. So I got more closer to the business world than the technology world. And I started playing liaison role, because I now started playing a role where the people who would code and program, I started staying in between. So I started strategically shifting my work, myself, closer to the business world, right? The functional areas. And I started learning more about business. I did that for myself because, again, you don't have to. You don't have to. So I started, at some point, I even went into the business, merchandising, right? At some point, that's my alert for my next meeting. At some point, I then got into the business world, right? Merchandising world. I became a business. So coming from computer, hardcore, mathematics, no, I shifted, and I heard the desires of my heart. I wanted more. I started learning more business, more retail, more. And then I found myself in actually leaving completely the IT world, and I became, right, a business person inside corporate. Yeah, you can do that. Own your own destiny, own your own career path. If you follow traditional, because when you go into the enterprise, right, the traditional career path is there for you to follow. But I'm talking about lead your own life, acquire more knowledge, and you'll be more relevant. There's one question everybody needs to be asking every time, constantly. What does this world need? This world, not 20 years ago, not 30 years ago. What is required now in today's world and what will be required in the future? And start making sure you acquire the skill for that world. Otherwise, nobody needs you. That stuff from 1980, 19, psh, psh, right? Knowledge is power. Now, I've been told through the grapevine, clubhouse grapevine, that some people just want title. Fine. Title without knowledge would expose you in this world and in the future of the world. Because why? People now are more desperate for true leadership. So, and for someone like myself that worked for the world's largest company, your title means lead nothing. You and your title sit down. Influence is what you know and the relationships you have and how you can perform in that enterprise. And that's how you're rewarded. You're not rewarded based on your title. Now, people say, "Oh, I want title." Fine. Don't we all know many people sitting in positions of influence and power, but they don't know Jack? We all know they don't know, right? And it's very embarrassing, right? Even in government, title. So title, they're not technical. They don't have the skill or the technical knowledge to perform the duties of the job, particularly when those duties are shifting constantly every single day. So personal development is how you stay current and how you stay relevant in the future of the world. It requires you to go stretch beyond that stuff you were taught in university, college, PhD, whatever. Fine. But the more you want, because when I teach entrepreneurship and all of those things, people don't understand. Like, you have to know cross discipline. The most successful people in the world, they don't stay where they're like Bill Gates used to be a programmer. Today, he's telling you vaccine, healthcare. He's teaching the world about sciences, biology. How did he get there? It's knowledge. It's the knowledge. Knowledge is the power and influence that somebody like himself has. You know why? Because if he stayed in his original lane, technology, he conquered that space. Excuse me, he conquered that space. But then the moment he decided he wanted to do more, he invests in acquiring more knowledge. He goes to school. He's well studied in the new area because he cannot use the knowledge he has of a computer to talk about polio, malaria. What does he know? So, for you to move from what you went to school for, your expertise, and for you to be more relevant across, you need to expand your knowledge. More knowledge, more power. Cross discipline, cycle, a lot of things. Okay, that's all the message I have for today. Let me just see if there are questions or comments. And Jacqueline said to the money, yes, yes, yes. Well, guess what? Money too is power, but how do you get it? How do you get it? That's why when I say I teach, how do you get it? You have to create value. You have to create value. Money is a value. The products and services you create is a value. So we are in the business of value exchange. I give you my service or my product, and you give me your money. So to do it well and to scale it up, you need knowledge. You may think you know, but there's more to know because you're only operating based on what you know today. That's my point. You want to know more about wealth building? Learn more about wealth building. That's all that's just the simple message I have for today. More knowledge, more power in the area of expertise you're pursuing. Because I'm seeing so many people. The reason I'm tackling and addressing this is because I'm seeing so many people sit on the laurels of I went to school, I'm this. Brilliance is something, but load that brilliance with more knowledge. You are giving, it's like when we talk about computer, you can have a computer machine that is extremely powerful, like in terms of its computing power. But when you put garbage in, garbage out, that's why we call it in computer program, you say gigo, like garbage in, garbage out. It's like that computer is only as powerful as what you feed it with. It's the same thing with we humans. We are all gifted to perform. We are all, God has given us, right? To process information. But you give it you cannot only operate by the information you feed yourself. That's my point. That's all. I'm trying to keep this very simple. It's not complicated, people. You know more, you can do more. You know little, you do little. Simple, full stop. Okay. Uh I thrive in wisdom says knowledge is power, wealth creation alerts for learning. Yes. Basically, you all these things are, you need to see it as disciplines. If you went to school for accounting, fantastic, you are the best accountant, right? The moment you move from accounting and you want to do something else, my point is become a student. You were a student of accounting at one point. You want to produce skincare. Do you know formulation? You want to distribute product. Do you understand retail? You want to do ABCD, government affairs, trade and investment facilitation. You want to export your product. Did you go to school for that thing? No. So when somebody like myself is saying I'm teaching ABCD, what I'm finding is that people are snobbish. They don't understand that that knowledge is going to power you to the next level. Like, this is a success principle. Is that you don't know what you don't know. You don't know what you don't know. Okay. Chimene says, hello from Chad. Thank you. Happy to listen to this session. Thank you. You are absolutely right. Knowledge is everything to succeed in life. Thank you for sharing this knowledge. Okay. This is even a knowledge too. I used to assume a lot that people understand these things. I assumed wrong because I roll in certain quarters that for real they are recommending books. Like if books, they will pile up books. Like the CEO of Oba to tell you the top books he read for the year. Right? My mentor will say, Tony, have you read this book? So in that circle, like I don't have to tell them knowledge in power. They already know. That for them to lead enterprises, for them to be successful, they got there. They only got to that position of influence and power because they invested in knowledge. They already know these things. Okay, if I'm engaging with World Bank chief economist on Africa, like he didn't get to that position for what? It's because his PhD. I remember when it was my event, I was like, what do I even call you, sir? Is it doctor, PhD? I don't even know. You are so well read. Economist, like, is an economist of economists, meaning is the chief economist and there are other economists under him. That man knows. And you don't get to that position by knowing nothing. Like for real. Like, so I used to assume because I roll in those spaces, right? I just thought, oh, when I say I'm teaching this, people will rush. I'm like, oh, no, 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 no. No, no, no. There's a successful mindset. There's an unsuccessful mindset. People that are seriously unsuccessful think that what they went to school for will help them fly. You will perform wonders what in terms of what you studied. I think that's what I'm also saying. What you studied is what will help you. What you did not study, you cannot win in. So if you want to win, go and study that area. You have to go back to school. You have to become a student of that space. And the arrogance of us all, we think we know. We think we know what we don't know. And so we are showing up into certain spaces with ignorance, and that thing stinks. Go into some spaces, oh, Africa is this, Africa is that. I'm like, tell me, so if all you're reading on the headline is all you're regurgitating, you don't know what's up. Africa is poor, Africa is corrupt. Stay there, please. you know, it's the same narrative. Africa, tell me something new. Africa is poor, Africa is corrupt, Africa is at war, Africa is fighting this. That is you've been so, that is a narrative, and you are just repeating like it's just you see, I just recounted it. For you to now engage seriously, you have to know more than that. That's why when I host events, you have to know more than that. If that's all you know about Africa, you are not in the game. You see what I'm saying? And then people bring that basic headline knowledge into my events, and I'm like, how did you get here? Like, oh, the government is this, the government is that. Who has the government done anything to you? You are just propaganda. Propaganda. You personally, have you, like, who told you that stuff? I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but do you have the experience enough to speak authority? And then people will be so authoritative, right? They'll be so audacious in speaking garbage. Please, guys, let's clean up that stuff. I never knew I'll be talking like this, but it stinks, because you can't bring that, you can't do anything meaningful with that garbage people have been sold. But if that's all you want to study, I'm saying study. That's even Bible says study to show yourself approved. Be approved. Like, even Bible says, my people perish for lack of knowledge. You see my point? My point is that knowledge is your power. Ignorance stinks, and ignorance leads to exploitation. You will be exploited by your lack of knowledge. When somebody shows up at your door, and they sell you something, you buy it without studying it, without understanding what you're signing. It's because of your lack of knowledge. Now people sign off the next 30 years of countries. Why? Because they are operating from a place of limited knowledge, limited understanding, and the rest of the world that have more knowledge about global markets, international trade, they will come. What you have, they take from you. Knowledge also allows you to protect yourself and your assets. Even Bible says, he who has, more will be given. He who doesn't have, even what he has will be taken. I'm quoting Bible. Oh. Don't say Toyi said it. Please open your Bible, it's inside. If you have knowledge, more opportunities will be given to you. If you don't have it, even the little you have, you can't keep. With knowledge, a house is established. Abi. With wisdom, what else? This thing is the ultimate. I'm giving you the ultimate success principle. Pursue knowledge vigorously. Invest in it. Buy. Bible says buy the truth. Pay for it. Chase after it. Run after it. Because why? Your value will only increase. Right? Your value would only go up. Your value would only go up. You see, when you get that degree, right? You now say, I'm a PSC, I'm a PhD, I'm a MSc. Why? Because you are demonstrating that you now have a particular knowledge that you can perform A, B, C, D. The same is still true. The same is still true. Let me see more. I'm going to be wrapping up shortly. Smoked Dictator says, sometimes little knowledge is worse. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm here to have fun. So I'm already reading what he says. It's already funny. He says, okay, Smoke Detector on Instagram says, sometimes little knowledge is worse than no knowledge. Should we be intentional about what we seek to learn? Oh, fantastic. I love that. Okay. In my leadership program, this is what I say. Okay, because I'm just giving you things here. It's not structured. My programs are structured. In the structured approach, you actually start with clarity of where you're going. So you have the knowledge part comes in when you know where you're going. Most of the time, the reason people are not investing in knowledge is honestly, they're just out here to play. There's no clear view of what they're trying to achieve. So the first thing you really want to know, it's like, think of it as knowledge is a roadmap. You first have to say, I'm going from Chicago, where I am, to California. If you're going to California, the direction and the knowledge you need is different from, say, you're going from Chicago to Detroit, or Chicago to Texas, or Chicago to Florida. So when I design my programs, like the program I design for people that are interested in exports is different from if they want to work with government, trade facilitation, is different from entrepreneurship, all of those things. So your question is so relevant because I know I'm here today just talking about knowledge, but in my program that is more structured, before we actually even get to knowledge, right? We first start with clarity. Design a personal development plan for yourself. So, for example, this is the beginning of a new year. What are you going after this year? Like, what do you want to achieve this year? That should then influence you asking yourself, in order for me to get here, in order for me to do these things, what's missing? What knowledge gap do I have so I can start getting books, courses, programs that will help me arrive there? So it's not something you do. I mean, some people just read for leisure, fantastic. But the way I study is about tackling a particular skill I want to improve on. So if I want to improve on communication skill, you see me buying books, you see me studying like communication. Tomorrow I'll talk a little bit about communication, right? So your question is so important. You said, should we be intentional about what we seek to learn? Yes. Intentionality is the game. Otherwise, you'll be doing what people are doing, for example, on Clubhouse and on social media. They are eating crumbs that makes no sense. They are followed like 100 people. That's what I think you were trying to say, that little knowledge sometimes is worse than no knowledge. You know why? Because you are eating from the tables of hundred thousands of people on social media. There is no, it's not cohesive. It's like you will confuse yourself. It's more confusing because 100 people every day you're scrolling. Somebody will say, oh, this is this. You say yes. Next tomorrow, somebody will say something. Yes. You think you are learning. Your brain, it's not creating a clear direction for you. It's like, okay, I want to go from California. Every single day, I wake up. Instead of getting one roadmap, 100 people are leading you. Turn left. You're going left. Nobody said, no, no, no. Turn right. You are confusing yourself. You will not arrive at that destination. So there is a clear path. Now, social media is fantastic. Clubhouse is great. I get it. Right? But it doesn't give you a straight line from going from point A to point B. It will never give you that. People are just giving you their opinions, their thoughts, like I am right now. That's why when I even do sessions like this, I try to encapsulate it as a topic by itself, even though I know in my program is sequential. Those who enroll in my program, so when I say I'm teaching courses, I can teach you a principle or share freely one principle from a whole program. The reality is you're not going to get the whole program, but you think, oh, I now know everything. No, no, no. You see my point? To get everything, you still have to enroll in that program. Unfortunately, most people just, this is all they do. They listen here, they listen there, which is fine. We will still give value. I'm giving value, right? But when you see people that make sense to you and you think they can help you achieve what you're going, it's better to enroll in their program, right? So there are people out there that you've been seeing, you've been consuming free content. Free is free, right? It's like you want to go to Harvard. Until you enroll, Harvard is not going to offer you the best of Harvard. They can give you clips here and there. So, but that's another principle. Let me leave it. Again, I assume people know these things. I assume, honestly, I assume that most people know these principles, right? But again, maybe not. But great question. Yes, Your personal development plan should be intentional because it should be based on your mission driven goals, who you want to be, what you're trying to achieve, right? The person you want to become, the leadership opportunities you're pursuing, leadership or business opportunities you're pursuing. When you have that clear view of where you're going, I want to be this, I want to do this, I want to be able to be seen in this light. Everything that you then do should align. So, for example, this also is involved in personal branding, marketing, how you show up. Unfortunately, people are very, they're just all over the place, and you can see it. It doesn't, even the people watching is like today it's this, there's no strategy or aligned tactics, right? So those are the things I share. Like in my 12, my the game plan series, I'm going to share 12 strategies for winning. In it, communication is part of it, leadership development is part of it, right? Mindset coaching is part of it, success principles, stakeholder assessment is part of it, monitoring daily time management is part of it, because everything adds up. Like for me, it's 360. But again, I will come here and give you tips and tricks, but the entire package is what will give you the full picture. I Thrive Wisdom says, great job, Torin. Thank you. I really appreciate that. So I'm wrapping up now because yeah, my next there's an executive meeting next. Okay, I'm kidding, but I have to go now. Any other questions before I wrap up? Thank you so much. Happy Martin Luther King Day. If you're here in the US, you know that, but if you're not, you read about it. It's so important because of people like him. People like myself. We can come in here, and there's no limit to what we can do in life, like for real, right? Anyway, that's it. It's a wrap, people. Please check out toyinumesiri.com. Tons of resources, business courses, export courses, trade and investment facilitation. And big shout out to Kabalaji. I didn't see her today. Are you here? She completed our Africa Regional and International Trade, Global Trade Facilitation, Trade and Investment Facilitation course. This is a course recognized by the African Union Trade and Investment Department. And it's a class I've delivered to more than even 14 government officials from more than 14 African countries. So this is something we continue to deploy, because I'm like, if all you know about Africa is poor, Africa is this, Africa is this, nothing. You don't know nothing. You just know the propaganda. Tell me something different. And that class breaks down foreign aid, foreign trade, how to work with stakeholders. It equips you if this is something you want to lead in. If you want to lead, acquire the knowledge. If you don't want to play, that's fine. You or go pick up books, pursue leaders in that space. I had to do that, right? For many, many years, hosting the world's leading experts, from presidential advisors to economists, right? I sat at their feet, right? So when I speak now, I speak as a custodian of such knowledge. So I speak with authority because I know what I'm talking about. So that knowledge is my own power. You see what I'm saying? So I'm just sharing what I've had to do. So this should not be, it's not rocket science. It's really, really basic. The more you know in the space you want to win and lead. So there are levels to even the knowledge. Some knowledge will get you into the door. Great. You can squeeze your way into the door. For you to lead, Ambassador Muchanga, for you to be seen as a leader in that space, you better know what a leader needs to know that people can follow. That's what I'm saying. Most of the things I do is for leaders. You can squeeze yourself into that world and pretend only for a while. But the higher you go, the more exposed you are. And the only way you get to perform at those levels is when you open your mouth. Make sure what's coming out of you is valuable, and people can say, oh yeah, that person knows. Like, go and talk to that person. Otherwise, people leave you and avoid you. Whew, that's it. Thank you so much. God bless you all. That's it. Thank you. I really appreciate it. I'll leave the replay out there. And then please subscribe to my YouTube. Check out toyinmesiri.com. Tons of resources there. I put a lot of resources and knowledge out there. And then for those who want more, we have a 12 calendar month program at my academy, my leadership and entrepreneurship academy, and also the international trade network. And there's also an embedded academy inside there. Right? Members access all my courses. Non-members, you can always you can buy individual courses out there. You don't have to be a member to be able to access my courses, but membership allows you access to all the events and programming we have for the year. That's the value of annual membership, is that you get to access everything. And we've had to re-engineer and organize this differently based on where people are at. Some people just want turn left and that's it. Some people want full direction that will lead them to California. And then I also serve as a leadership and success coach, because I'm realizing that you can have technical skills, right? You can have technical skills, but for you to move up, just like if you're in a corporate environment, right? You may be employed, you may get into the corporate like the company with your skill, meaning you were employed, safe as with your accounting skill because you're an accountant or because you're a programmer. Fantastic. You were employed for your skill. What got you there may not get you that next promotion. People don't. I'm trying to be as direct as possible, because when you're in a corporate space and you're now saying, oh, they're not promoting me, I'm doing a job, I'm doing my job, is because you need to be asking yourself, what got you that current job is your technical skill. You need to start asking, what else? What is the knowledge gap that I need to close that will move me into leadership position? Because those positions, it's not about your technical competency, or they need you to play a strategic function. They require you to have people management skills. They require you to have exceptional communication skills, and you are missing all those things. You've not invested in it. I remember years ago when I joined Whirlpool Corporation, right? I started observing my director and senior manager. That was after masters. My first this was more than maybe 15, 16 years. It's a long time ago, right? I was employed as an analyst or whatever, right? Fresh out of grad school, my master's program. And I started observing my senior manager at that time and my director, the way they emailed, exceptional communication skill in email. Their email is crisp. You can feel their hearts. They care. And that's how they mobilize the team. And I loved working for them. That was when I realized that, oh, Toyin, just because you have A plus 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 plus, just because you are super, super intelligent, doesn't mean you've been prepared to lead in corporate America. That was when I had that epiphany, like that realization that, whoa, this thing is a skill. How you communicate via email to your team. It's another type of skill set that you need to develop, that muscle. That was then 15 or 16 years ago. That was when I observed my senior manager and director, how they led a room, how they led meetings, how they emailed and how they corresponded, and how crystal clear. I was like, if I say his name now, I don't know if he watches, like Steve Villanueva was that. He became somebody I was studying because people just wanted to be around him. He communicated with such kindness, and he had a grasp, a real strong grasp on wordsmanship, right? How he wove words in email. You read his email and you jump up and do whatever he wants you to do. And I realized that's a skill to you need to get. That's how you win in corporate. You are going, no, if all you can do is you can code, or you can balance sheets, you can settle balance sheet, you can do ABC. They'll keep paying you to do that thing. You'll be left there, right? That's what you went to school for, to be employable. Great. But the day you say, I want more leadership, all of that, my point is personal development. Good evening, good night. Thank you. Clement said, bye, coach. And once again, thank you. Yes. Good night, good evening. God bless you. I have to run now. Thank you so much.